What makes you want to come and pursue this?
Law enforcement? So I went to college, I went to UML. I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I've almost always wanted to be a cop. I worked a little bit of security prior to here. I then took the job with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department as a corrections officer, deputy sheriff. I did that for about 5 years. And during that, I've taken the civil service exam a few times just to try to get on. And I was able to get on with this academy class this year, and I was very fortunate. I'm very appreciative to have that opportunity, because I've always wanted to become a police officer to serve and protect the people of Lowell. And so far, it's been a pretty interesting and a pretty good experience. It's been tough. We do a lot of exercising, a lot of PT, and that mixed in with the academics. It's been very challenging, but so far so good. It's been a great experience. It's unfortunate. There's only 2 or 3% of the officers who are making poor decisions, it's definitely tainting the rest of the good cops who are out there. But aside from that, there's still a lot of good police work that's out there. A lot of it really, I don't think is being put out there by the media. I feel like the media puts a lot of negative stuff out there. It sells. You might have 1 or 2 instances where use of force probably wasn't justified, but you don't get to see the other part of policing where a lot of good work is being done. People's lives are being saved. People are being apprehended. And there's a lot of positives out there that just isn't being put out there, in my opinion. So that's unfortunate that the good work's being overshadowed by the 2 or 3% that's negative. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I have been aware of some of the stuff that's been going on out there. You might be out there trying to do your job, trying to help people, but you're still kind of a target. I feel like there's a lot of domino effect. So it's like cops are being ambushed. Cops are getting set up and responding to calls, and they're being shot at. Right now, it's a tough time. So yeah, it is concerning. But I think eventually it'll turn back around. A lot of that will probably fade away in time.
I don't think that it swayed me towards the negative to pull away from it. I think a majority of us that are there pretty much knew, maybe even at a young age, that this is what we wanted to do. It's very much a calling, and if you realize that it's not your calling, you'll be weeded out pretty early on. I think with everything that's been going on, it's definitely solidified it even more so. We're all good people. There's bad teachers, there's bad doctors, there's bad judges, there's bad lawyers. We just happen to be held to a higher standard, and I think that's the problem. So we constantly have, cameras in our faces, and cell phones are out, and everybody's kind of curious as to what we're doing, and rightfully so. But as long as we're doing the right thing and treating people respectfully, I think that there's not necessarily no reason to be afraid, but it alleviates a lot of potential problems that are out there. There's obviously going to be people that want to hurt you, regardless, just because that's, popular at the time. But, if you're meant to do this job, you're meant to do this job, and you're just going to go out there and do it to the best of your ability. And that's what they teach us here. Just be a good person. Before this, I was actually working in a public school in special ed. So I was helping students with some pretty severe cognitive and behavioral challenges.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It taught me a lot about patience, and totally different from police work. But there's definitely a lot to be learned, and I took a lot away from that. So I think I always knew that I was going to be a law enforcement job.
Okay.
It just was a matter of time.
Yeah.
Played a lot of the waiting game.
I think it's one of those things that you really need to be there to experience exactly what's going on.
In the case of in Dallas about a month ago, obviously officers have always put themselves in some danger. And as far as being an law officer, maybe that doesn't really change, but in terms of seeing something like that so clear in such an extreme case, did you think much about it?
Yeah, because that could happen anywhere. we've already had our incident, our incident with Boston, where, I mean, anywhere, it could happen anywhere, any small town. I mean, it could happen here in Lowell. I mean, Lowell might be a small city, but we got a lot of people backed up into a small space. So you don't know who's coming here and who isn't, and just, it could happen like that. That'd be a shame. I mean, no matter what you do, you can't be ready for something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try to be ready, but it's so difficult to be,
Yeah. Does it phase you at all, or do you still kind of feel like kind of resolute that you're gonna?
You think about it, but no, you just think about what you do. I think we, just it gives you a little bit more motivation to pay more attention to your training. Maybe do extra training on the side to make sure that yourself, are ready for something like that. Because right before college, when I really figured it out, that I want to get to law enforcement. So and then once I got out of college, I really started working my way up. Did a little security, did the sheriff's department for a while, and then from there I got here. So building up that experience that you needed. So kind of want to do this.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on the family.
What I have gotten out of this whole thing is I think, you're not going to change everyone's perspective on, what they think. I mean, it's a national problem right now, and all I can do myself is concentrate on what I can do better as a police officer and what I can bring forth to the community. I just hope that, that people realize that the work we do, I mean, we're here to help people and protect people, serve the community. We're not, you get your 1%ers that may not know what they're doing, or, but you can't judge everybody by the same book,
Are you transitioning careers from doing something else to doing police?
Well, I was
force, or?
5 years active duty military.
Oh, okay.
I'm also a mother of a 15-month-old baby. So,
Oh my God! Wow.
So this
Wow.
is my new career.
Yeah. Okay. What did you do in the military? What branch?
I was in the U.S. Coast Guard.
Oh, Coast. Okay. What did you do for that? Did you specialize in anything?
Bosun's mate, E5. So my last station was down in Boston. I was a coxswain for the station down there. Do a lot of escorts with the tankers in and out of Boston. SAR calls. Before I got into the military, I knew that I wanted to be a police officer. So that was kind of, it helped me get in the door, so to speak, to be a police officer. We moved to Brooklyn, I think about 6 years ago, and once I lived there, I kind of realized that this is the community that I want to work in.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's very hard to get on the list. It's very hard, if you're not military or...
In 2000, and went and worked as a financial advisor for American Express Financial Advisors. Went to work for investment sales companies, basically investment sales since that time. Left Charles Schwab in 2012, I guess. It was last June, so however confused I am there, 2015. And at that point, my wife's an attorney, so we were doing fairly well and making progress, and she knew I wasn't loving what I was doing, so she said to, do what I wanted. And so it took some time to figure out what that was. Which is a harder question to answer than you think.
I guess hearing about the national news surrounding police departments, has it made you feel a little skeptical or nervous at all about entering at this particular time?
I'd be foolish to say that it didn't make me nervous. I think if anything, I'm not hesitant or regretful about making the change or anything along those lines, but it does sort of put your head on alert a bit and become a little bit more anxious in a good way, not anxious like stressed, but anxious and vigilant and thoughtful about what you're doing. And, it really sort of made it very real very quickly that we're now part of this world and need to be thinking that way.
I finished my degree in Quincy. I didn't think there was a need to transition to another college, so I just finished there. And then I lived in Newton ever since, and now I'm going on Newton Police Department.
Has, I guess, recent news impacted how you feel at all about pursuing?
I watch the news a lot, and my wife hates the news. So it's like one of those things where we're like, I like to watch it, but she turns it off every time it gets bad. All the stuff that I've watched with like the negative biases towards police, I like getting both ends. So like it's good to hear the negative parts of what's going on in law enforcement nowadays, but it's also good to know the positive, so it kind of evens itself out. It just encourages me to be better. So if there's something negative out there that an officer did that they weren't supposed to do, I want to be that officer that actually does it the right way, and keeps that, that level of standard the same overall. It hasn't deterred me in any way, shape, or form. It's good to know those things, to educate yourself, but, to move on and just learn from it.
Every day we learn something new educationally, like the amount of courses we have to take in. That's one thing that's been for me. The amount of information we have to take in. And you think 24 weeks. Oh goodness, that seems like such a long time, but when you look at the curriculum, there's so much to take in. So far it's like, I have more time. But there's only so much you can learn, so much you can do with that time. But it's really really a lot to take in, at least educationally. For me, that's a big piece. I just did scenario-based training to get that more hands-on field approach instead of just learning about in the classroom, which we've been doing for the past, I'd say, at least 8 to 10 weeks. I'm going to be going to Lowell, so I'm going to be staying in the area, and I really look forward to joining this department. I find that I've heard nothing but good from them, and that's positive for me. I live here, and I find that it's going to be I want to be able to contribute to my community and hopefully carry on what they have already put out there on the streets.
Do they go over, spend a lot of time on how many different things you'll be asked to do on any given shift?
Yeah, throughout class, there's a lot of open discussion, so things like that are discussed, and you have a lot of officers coming in to instruct that have a lot of experience, a lot of time on the job, and they've seen a lot, they've done a lot. So they come in, they talk about their experiences, different things that they've had to do, and it's not always, it's like, it's exactly like you stated earlier, you might be dealing with violent crime now, and then 30 minutes from now you might be in a position where you're counseling a young kid or something like that. It just changes, and you just got to adapt and overcome. All the instructors are very knowledgeable, so it's a good time. Obviously it's a training environment, but still a lot of good things were taken away from it. So
it is a little bit of a family business. My grandfather was George Cummings, C-U-M-M-I-N-G-S, and he was a sergeant on the Cambridge Police Department, and he was a veteran also in the Korean War. And my godfather's a Cambridge police officer right now, Eddie Watson, same last name, and he's technically a cousin of my father. But I got out of high school, and within 2 weeks of graduation, I left for the Marine Corps, knowing that it would help me on the civil service test and buck me up. At the time, I believe I thought it was 5 points, but now it just jumps you straight to the top of the list, which is kind of fantastic for me. And so that gave me that competitive edge. And I got out last year in May, and I went to school after. I went to Bucknell Community College and did the criminal justice program over there to work towards my associates and continue on with my education. Yeah, and you know what? I don't feel any different about it, believe it or not, because I think I'm gonna go there, do my job right, help people out, and I feel like if I had a drill instructor that once said, if you're doing the right thing, you're never wrong. So it's one of those things. It doesn't change my aspect on it. It doesn't change my idea of being a police officer, because I didn't sign up to be a police officer to do the wrong thing. I did so I can help people out, maybe be a role model, and make a difference in a kid's life. My job is I want to eventually get into the high school and be the school cop, basically.